We are here. It is our first time here in Japan. It's going to be a good one. It has been always those blockbuster moments here in Formula One. Past, present, I guarantee it will be in the future. Hi, my name is Ben, also got by the name of Mr. Norms. We are here in Japan for the Suzuka Grand Prix. Once again, I am supported by my lovely co-commentator, Dutch friend, Matthew.
Hi guys, thanks again for having me. The Suzuka circuit has held all but 2 of the Grand Prix in Japan since 1987, and it is unique to the calendar as the only figure of 8 circuit that we have in F1, and I'm pretty sure that we've had in F1. You'd have to fact check me on that, but I can't think of too many. Anyway, a lot of people may remember this used to be the season finisher throughout the 90s and early 2000s. And it actually holds the record for 13 championship deciders. There's some very famous ones. Obviously, if you go all the way, you had 1989, 88 as well. So it's got a lot of history. Suzuka itself held its first race in 63. That was a non-championship race, and it was held just to test it after it had been built by Honda. And over the years, the Japanese Grand Prix itself has been held at Toyota's Fuji Speedway. Some might remember 2007, one of Lewis Hamilton's best drives, where it was monsoon-like rain. You had Mark Webber getting crashed out by Sebastian Vettel when he was in his Toro Rosso, swore on TV. It was a race of high attrition. One of my favourites. So if you get a chance to go and watch the 2007 Japanese Grand Prix, watch it, because Fuji itself is a fantastic track, great for overtaking. Now, Suzuka held its first championship, Japan held its first championship race in 1976, which was at Fuji. It was won by James Hunt, and you can see the events of that in the film Rush.
Very good film.
Memorable moments include, as we've mentioned, 89, when Senna and Prost collided at the final chicane, dubbed the Triangle, and the subsequent incident in 1990 where Senna pretty much refused to brake for the first corner, collided with Prost's Ferrari, and that decided the World Championship for that year. It also saw Schumacher's first Ferrari title. That was Ferrari's first World Championship for a driver since 1979, which was won by South African Jody Scheckter, the only man from Africa to have won a World Championship in Formula One. So that marked a huge break between titles for Ferrari. It was a great race, actually. I watched it recently. It was a tactical battle really done through pit stops, as there aren't a lot of overtaking opportunities on the track. And I'd be remiss if I was not to mention Kimi's fantastic win from 17th in 2005. He overtook Fisichella going into the first corner of the last lap. It was a little bit too late for him. Fernando had already won 7 races, and I'm pretty sure I think he saw him off the race after in Brazil. But it was probably Kimi's greatest drive, and we should mention that, even though it meant nothing in the championship. We have to mention that. It
was sublime. I'm not gonna. There was always that memorable part where you actually, I think, coming up to the first turn, he just absolutely ran it ragged past Fisichella.
He sent it, and this was Fisichella in his prime. I think Fisichella is a driver that doesn't get the credit, because when he was in that championship-winning car, he had Fernando Alonso as his teammate, kind of like Bottas. How Bottas has only really got one man to beat to win a championship, but that man is so much better than him. And that was the same with Fisichella. But still, he was a race winner. He won with a Jordan, which is an insane thing to say, or modern-day Aston Martin, as they're called. So the Japanese Grand Prix is actually, it's a staple on the calendar, and the Japanese people absolutely love motor racing of any kind. Obviously, if anyone who listens or watches follows MotoGP, Honda, Suzuki, there are many Japanese constructors in MotoGP. They are motorsport mad, and there have been a few occasions actually where, for example, Yuri Suzuki finishing third at the 1990 Ferrari, the 1990 Grand Prix at Suzuka after the Senna Prost incident. He was someone who actually got catapulted up into third and finished on the podium. And more recently, Kamui Kobayashi in 2012, finishing on the podium in Japan as well.
I mean, it has to be probably one of the great tracks, obviously, on the normal Formula 1 calendar for the past probably 5 years. I mean, all the drivers actually do love this track. I mean, I don't think I've ever heard a time where Lewis Hamilton hasn't gone to the radio after either a quality or a decent session, or maybe at the end of a race, and said he doesn't like that track. He is in love with it.
I think drivers like this in the same way. If you remember after the Grand Prix at Mugello this year, how drivers were happy. It's an old school circuit. It's got grass to punish you. It's got high curbs. It's got gradient changes. You're going up and down, side to side like a roller coaster, as Lando so famously said. But he said that about obviously the circuit of the Americas. But it's a very similar circuit to that. You've got the S section, the Degner curves. Everything keeps you on edge in the same way that you can't take a moment's break around Monaco or Hungary. You've got a lot to think about through every corner as we start to get the first few laps in. Desi, a very competitive 1:26.9. Bremboy 1:27.5. 1:26.9 is hugely competitive around this track.
So far, the Haas boys are on top at the moment, but what?
Basabi.
I have to say, didn't I? Basabi with a 1:26.9, and now
Eugene goes faster by.
Wow, that is incredible, Eugene. You're doing your bits, and Sharky as well.
Last week.
Wow.
Now we saw the two Racing Point fellas in the pink cars there actually lock out the front row. Sharky is on a bit of a run at the moment, and let's see if it continues. But it's an amazing time, 1:26.2 from Eugene.
Tim at 88 has came in with a 1:27.3, pretty much almost on the dot, really.
Yeah.
Boorish 1:34.
I think he's made a mistake on that.
Probably did make the mistake. Ooh. I can only imagine where he probably went wrong, but
probably on.
We'll have to see.
It punishes you hard, this track. As I'll talk about in my track guide a bit more, there are sections, if you push a little bit too much, then that's it. You're being thrown off into the gravel or onto the grass. And actually, it's an interesting fact, they haven't really programmed it too much on this game. But you see these green bits of AstroTurf as you go around Spoo.
Yes.
And obviously on the first corner, they're actually designed to drag the car away from the track. So if you put a tyre on that, it's so hard to get it off because it's sticky.
You basically become a passenger.
Yeah, exactly. There's punishment. I do think we see too much these days with modern F1 tracks. And I get why they have to have runoff areas for safety, but I do feel like there isn't too much these days that on modern tracks that I can punish a driver for a lapse in judgment. There's a lot of tracks these days. I like to think like China, where you've got that hugely long straight where you can kind of just settle. I do like watching people have to constantly think. I suppose that's why people like Monaco so much, is the fact that that's 71 laps where you can get everything wrong there.
I will literally, just pause you right there, Matt. Boorish out of nowhere.
Wow.
Is a 1:26.224. So literally just over 400ths of a second.
Now Boorish is obviously our championship leader, and he had a great result with Basabi and Tempo. Tempo didn't score points last week, and I think Basabi finished very low down in the points. I think it was 8th. Can we just ride on board with Marty? He's on an outlap, and once he starts, I will go through my track guide. So, Boorish at the moment, still not to finish off the podium. Definitely the favourite for the title, but there's still plenty of time. You're seeing Sharky in the most recent weeks making a push, getting pole positions. He should have won in Azerbaijan. He did win last week. It's not over, but Boris has got a firm hold.
I will say this though, we do for the Red Bull team, we have a new contender.
Okay.
A critical player, driver by the sounds of
I'm
things.
just going to have to stop you while I go through my track, guys. I've been waiting to do this. So,
Go on.
you go down the main pit straight. This is the only DRS zone on the track. Turn 1 is a long, medium-speed hairpin. You want to stay relatively off the curbs around the S's. So this is some of the most famous pieces of track in the whole world. Left, right, left, right. There's not a moment to think. You're probably holding your breath in real life because of the G-force. This is Dunlop, and it throws you around at a constant gradient. Again, you're not able to think. Degner 1 is a little lift. Degner 2 is a bit of a harder braking zone. Be careful on traction and the curb, if not you're spinning. This is the hairpin, that's its actual corner name, I just googled. Do not touch the inside curb, and you'll notice it's a slight rise up which makes traction hard. Now this corner here is called 200R, 200 degree radiant. Then you come to Spoon, named after its resemblance to a spoon. Don't take too much curb on exit, as traction is vital as you carry this speed all the way through another very famous corner in Formula One. 130R, even though it's no longer 130 degrees radiance after it was repurposed in 2003. And then the triangle or the chicane. This was the scene of the aforementioned 1989 Prost Senna incident. And then what you want to do for the fastest lap is hug this white line and across the line. And that's actually a really good lap.
Very good time. A 126.865. Those are critical. A newbie in the town has just gone even faster with a 126.432, pushing its Sharky out of the podium places.
This is good because we want to see as close a competition as possible in sim racing and in the real sport. So we've got It's Sharky and Borish on an outlap. It might be worth just riding on board with Borish here, as he is at the moment on provisional pole, as he sets up his second of what he'll hope to be 3 laps.
I believe he's coming up to Spoon.
He's coming up to Spoon here. Another note here, you can attack this curb in the middle of the corner, but if you run a tyre over the red and white, it throws your back end out on this game, and I'm not sure if that's real to life or a glitch, but I've found when I've done laps around Japan, if you get too much curb mid-corner, the rear of the car gets quite unstable. So that's worth noting as we watch Boris set up his lap here, as he hopes to improve on the 126.2.
Boris, obviously, as we already said, at the moment, provisional pole position, but also the league leader, still remaining to be out of the top 3 in a race. I'm just wondering, surely not. I mean, I know so far he has proved himself week in, week out, but at the moment he is doing so well for this tournament, as Tim 88 has improved with a 126.1. We did have a spinner. I don't know who that may have been. It looked to be
a racing point.
A racing point. We don't know who
Sharky was lining up a lap at the same time as Borish, so it might have been him.
Fair enough. It may have been Sharky, but I'm pretty sure we'll probably find out at some point.
Yeah.
Now, Borish, he has at least 1/10 to find. It is doable.
With track evolution on this game, when you do a long qualifying session as opposed to a hot lap, the game's designed so the track gets faster. So really you want to be out there as late as possible to set a lap. And that's just true to real life, as the tyre comes off, rubs onto the track and grips up the corners, especially 130R through there. And as you can see, he doesn't take the racing line through there per se. He keeps the corner tight just to cut down on time spent, as he does the same over this last corner. And can he improve? He
does.
Improves by 2/10.
No, not 2/10. Yeah, it is 2/10. Mad.
Improves by 2/10 there, and favourite for pole at the moment, but it is close. That's a really good lap from the Ferrari of Tim 88. Everyone is rather close so far.
From tempo.
Tempo set at 135, so he would have made a mistake somewhere.
Oh, he's gone wide there.
The exit spoon there. So if this is a fast lap, that's probably been taken away. I think he's pulled
But
off.
just like I said last week, Tempo is in one of those sort of positions. He always tends to do this, especially when he is under the cosh. Whenever he is under pressure and the odds are against him, he can perform. The only problem with obviously last week is unfortunately he did DNF, as he does put literally a 126.369,
wow. So
taking him onto the second row.
So he didn't get his time taken away for running wide on exit spoon. That's great for him. That's great for us as well, as we want to see Basabi, Tempo and Borish right up there. And the more people we have fighting for pole, the more entertaining it is for the viewer, and that's important at the end of the day, as that's what it's all about. It's so important to keep people entertained while we're on the lull between the Formula One season. We do have the New Zealand Grand Prix this weekend, but it can't have any international drivers in for obvious reasons because of the pandemic. So actually, although it's the first Grand Prix of the year, it's going to be more of a charity event. I believe there's an 82-year-old taking place in it, and they're basically Formula 3 cars. And he's actually won it 6 times before, and if he wins it, not only would it be the oldest race winner ever of a Grand Prix, but it'd break the record for most New Zealand Grand Prix wins. So it's on Eurosport. If anyone wants to watch, I don't have Eurosport. I don't.
What do you mean you don't? Well, we do. We don't.
Yeah. Well, it's something you subscribe to.
Oh, right. Okay, no.
On your mobile, because we don't have a TV channel in the UK. So there is Grand Prix on, and I believe Macau isn't too far away if that can take place this year. So this is all keeping you entertained until the new season starts, wherever that may be. We assume at Bahrain, but we don't know.
Obviously it's got to start, let's face it, the new Formula 1 season.
Yeah.
But what would you say is the one thing you are looking forward to next year? What would literally, I know there's certain things like obviously George Russell and Lewis Hamilton still wandering and bickering over that seat at Mercedes.
I'm interested in the right at the back. Now, following trends, Haas finished last season very weak. I would say they finished last season weaker than Williams. Haas only scored points at one race, which was the lucky strategy call, where they pitted around Hungary. They've got an all-rookie lineup of Mick Schumacher and Mazepin, who, us as the fan base, really, we don't want him in F1 because of what he's done. We won't get into that here, just in case it triggers anyone, as it is quite a dark incident. An all-rookie lineup, very difficult. I would have kept or gotten in someone with a bit more experience, because you often see when a rookie comes in, like, Lando had Carlos, who's now used to setting up cars, and now he's going to learn even more that he's got Daniel Ricciardo, who's a race winner, to learn from. I would find pairing Mick Schumacher with, if you got a Hulkenberg, or if you were that hard up for money, Perez was there. Whether he would have taken the job is another question. So I'm going to be interested right at the back. I've got a good feeling about Williams. They've got new investment. They're tightening their partnership with Mercedes to use wind tunnel. They're going to have the most ability to test because they finished last year. And we're now seeing a sliding scale where Mercedes won't get to test as much because they're the most successful team. Williams will get to test more because they're the least successful team. And that's all going to help even out. So I am interested to see the 3 weakest teams in F1 being obviously Alfa Romeo, Haas and Williams, how that's going to work out. And I would fancy Russell to cut out the mistakes and score some points for Williams this year. I think Latifi improved as the year went on. He's a paid driver, but most of them are anyway. So, he is a good driver, and he's been very good at keeping his nose clean, as I always like to say. So everyone's getting ready now for their final lap. We've got 1 minute to go in the session. Borish on provisional pole, and let's see how this is all going to work out.
I believe Borish is actually just at the top of the S's right now.
So he's going through, this is Dunlops, and then you get the Degner curbs. That's Degner 1, which you shoot through, Degner 2 there. You want to be careful on exit, as traction is very hard around Suzuka, and that's purely because of the amount of gradient changes. You're going up and down. You notice there's an uphill around there, and then you're coming downhill, and then you shoot back up for Spoon. So it is very unsighted, this corner. You pick your braking point. I assume these boys won't be using the optimal racing line assist, and they won't be using the anti-braking system, anti-lock brakes, so they'll be picking out the braking zones themselves, and that's where the difference is going to be made here.
Coming up to Triangle right now, Boris. Can he, I mean, it's a sublime lap so far, but can he beat that 1:26.076? Can he go any faster? He does! 1:25.9! That is incredible!
That's going to be a tough one to beat. Let's have a look at Tim. Has Tim done his lap?
No, I believe he's just coming up towards...
Come to the hairpin, so he'll be going through Spoon now.
Trying to see who else is next. It's Desi. Desi doesn't go any further. He stays 8. Who else is next? Brenboy, he stays where he is. Trying to see who is the next closest person to the finish line. It will be Basabi. What can he do?
This is important.
It's 1:26.3. Can he go any faster? No, he can't. Martin goes a bit faster. Who is next after that? It'll be Sharky. Sharky's on a 1:26.418. Can he get onto the front row this week? Oh, he does! 1:25.9. What a brilliant lap that was!
He shoots past his teammate onto the first row of the grid. Now, it's not pole, but it's the first row again.
That's absolutely incredible. 400th second. That's brilliant. Crucial. He's a newcomer to this for the Red Bull team for Formula 1 Tier 1. What can he produce? He is 7th. He's staying there. Boris is looking to stay out a little bit more.
I think he's done. I was
about to say, but
he would have pulled out this lap. He crossed the line.
That's a quality lap, though.
It's an unbelievable lap, and I think
he's coming in. But seriously, it's Sharky. He's coming out with the goods again. Boris is on pole for the race.
Now, what's safe to say here is Suzuka isn't the easiest track to overtake on. And it comes to the point now where I'm now thinking about strategy, and in all cases I think you might as well go for soft to hards. You don't want to do a 2-stop purposely because of the lack of overtaking opportunities. So track position is going to be everything. Boris has the track position now, but throughout the last 2 races we've seen Sharky has actually very good breakaway pace. If he gets ahead and gets some clean air, he's going to shoot off. We saw that last week around Belgium as well, even with all the weather changes. So, look, Boris is in the prime seat, but this is sim racing and it's anyone's game.
There is the famous quote by my friend Matthew. Literally, I'm just saying, "Coffee, eat your heart out." But let's face it. Where did you get that from?
I came up with that myself, hand on heart.
Okay, I'll give you that. Seriously, it's a good quote. I'll give you that. Unfortunately, I can't say I've got my own style at the moment. Let's face it. I think the only thing I could probably say that I take away from Croft is the fact that I'll say and it's lights out, and it's applause. And that's the best thing I'll probably come up with. Let's face it.
And it's applause.
It's applause.
I mean, everyone's had their own thing. If you look at the 4 lead commentators, I can only really remember Murray Walker and Crofty.
Oh yeah,
there were 2.
Go.
It's go.
That's quality. That's
I can't remember the gentleman who was on ITV, but
I know you mean. I think it was
Dan something.
I think it was the time during. I think
it was from 2002 until 2008.
Yeah, I think I remember. I do.
Oh
remember.
no, we forget. In 2011, actually, Martin Brundle was the lead commentator because it was its last year on BBC, and they were moving to Sky, so BBC didn't employ anyone to replace the gentleman who left after 2010. So Martin Brundle was lead commentator as well. I often think, who my favourite commentator for F1 is Alex Jakes, who did the F2. He's now moved to Channel 4. If anyone listens to the Formula One podcast on their YouTube channel, he's the guy with the really soothing voice. He's got the voice for radio. He probably ain't got the face for TV, but he might have the voice for radio. I'm not saying you're ugly, Alex. I'm just saying.
Like Alex is probably going to be watching this anyway. Let's face it, ain't going to happen.
I'm just saying most commentators aren't the best looking people.
Anyway, we are on the formation lap. Matt, you are constantly said week in, week out. This is probably the most crucial lap to do, because obviously you need to get those tyres up to scratch. You need to get them up to temperature. You need to make sure that you're also not doing wear on them, as well as getting those brakes up right nice up to temperature.
I think an easy way to get your rears up is straight off the start. Hit the throttle hard when you pull away, because that will spin your wheels a little. That will then increase the surface temperature heavily. So you're already taking care of your rears while you're getting going. Around this track as well, it's because of the nature of the first sector, left and right, it's very easy to warm up. So this track, it should be very easy for the drivers to get the temperatures correct. If you haven't got your temperatures correct, something's gone wrong around this track, right? Because it's non-stop.
Most people would obviously tend to try and go for, when it comes to actual, Marty has been disqualified.
Right, so there's been an incident.
Desi and Stocko saying.
That's just going to be from the formation lap, guys. They must have just touched each other.
They're going to have very cold tyres.
So that's going to be the offset. So it'll be worth watching the guys behind at the start to see if there is a big difference. But this is what I'm talking about. So the weaving, it's just increasing the carcass temperature. So the very tip, the bit you can see, that the weaving improves the temperature, and that trickles all the way to the centre of the tyre. And that also keeps them inflated as well. The pounds per square inch is so important, and you can actually lose some of that with cold tyres because it's the oxygen, and oxygen gets thicker with heat. I think.
I will say this though, Boris has slightly rushed it a little bit, because look how far Lightning is. Lightning 66 is trailing.
It's going to be waiting a good 30-40 seconds.
Those tyres are just going to be cooling and cooling and cooling and cooling, and that's not going to do Boris any favours. And to be honest, let's face it, it won't be the same with Sharky, because, well,
yeah.
I mean, I think
there's not too much of a trade-off on the game, but at the end, you'll probably lose 2 degrees on the game. In real life, it's a little bit more. Well, it depends on weather conditions as well. You know, this is a sunny race. Japan's quite a mild climate in real life. So it's not ideal, but on the game, I don't think it punishes you too much. As we get ready to go here.
We're here in Suzuka. We're here in Asia. It's Japan. It's 5 lights. They are out. And remember, there's a pause. There's mine. And it's lights out, and away we go as Boris and Sharky get an excellent start.
Eugene, he just lifted off there.
Probably give tempo, and it's going to be too wide.
Tempo's just going to see him out, but if Sharky has the inside line. Sorry, Eugene.
Yeah, he gets there. He gets that very well held. As Tim 88 was coming up behind.
That opened up the Ferrari for attack from his teammate.
As it stands, Boris, it's Sharky, Eugene, and Tempo 88, Wasabi. In that order.
Eugene's had an incident. He's got on the. He spun his tyres a little. I think he just oversteered, and he had to correct, and he's dropped behind the 2 Ferraris.
He's dropped horribly there.
The 2 Ferraris are attacking each other. There's a lock up there for the outside Ferrari, and I believe Tempo gets away with one there, and now Eugene attacks Tim 88, going through 200R up to Spoon.
This is absolutely. At the moment, Boris and Sharky is probably on its way. They're separated already, but at the moment, the action at the moment is Tim 88 and Eugene, literally by 0.2 of a second. Now, Eugene is probably going to look to try and probably get up here. Is he going to? No, he's not. He's probably going to wait.
This is the best overtaking opportunity on the track into the chicane. Very hard on the brakes, and I believe the Ferrari defends the inside line, which is exactly where you want to be in that situation.
Nothing at the moment has been changed at the moment.
other than the Eugene incident. But he looks like he's in a very quick car as, they're going to go together through this first corner.
Trying to get a better angle on it. Eugene gets through. He is now on his way back, hopefully, to that podium place. Tempo has a bit of a half a second lead, but let's face it, Eugene has been in this situation before. He can do this, but it depends if he has the nerve to try and hit those curves. I know that you shouldn't, but let's face it, you're going to probably need every single bit of track you can with this. Oh, Tempo!
This is the problem with Degner 1. It's such a nothing corner in the 2020 cars. You just need a dab of the brake and a flick down maybe one gear. However, you get too brave, you're in the gravel, you're carrying those dirty tyres all the way up now through 200R into Spoon.
As it stands at the moment, it's Boris, followed by Sharky, followed by Tempo, followed by Eugene, who is literally behind on the points at the moment in terms of last race, because he had a bit of a shaky one, but Tim 88 is literally just behind him, but Eugene is trying to hunt down Tempo.
At the moment, that racing point is pretty much like a hungry jaguar chasing after a kid who spilt honey all over himself. As obviously Boris is already broken the DRS. DRS is activated on lap 3. They're not going to get it on this straight. We will see DRS fully in effect as they go through for this lap 4.
Everyone seems to be quite close to each other, apart from the top 3. They seem to be evenly spreading out, but those top 3 Tempo, they've all got Eugene right on him. Eugene is going to be looking to attack as much as he possibly can before it is possible to try and get the pit stop done, because that is crucial. Trying to get that pit stop done, but also try and be in the highest position you possibly can before everyone else comes in. Otherwise, you're going to have to probably be trailing the race.
As I said, track position is everything around here. It's not like the last race where in Belgium there are so many overtaking opportunities and so much slipstreaming that, look, I could take this extra pit stop and I can, feel safe in the knowledge that I will make places up. It's so difficult to overtake as Eugene just gets a little bit too hungry on the power.
Got a little bit of a twitch there, didn't he? But the thing is, he's got Tim 88 right up behind him. Now, Tim 88 is going to be literally have that DRS, but the thing is, Eugene is just behind Tempo. Well. So he'll have DRS. So a bit of a DRS train going on at the moment. As Stocko says,
no, he's binned it!
Tempo, what has happened there, mate?
Too much. He got too hungry on the throttle through the second part of the chicane, and what happens around that final corner after you come out of the chicane, if you hit that curb and then get too hungry on the power, you're sideways. It's exactly what happened. He got way too hungry on the throttle and he's lost 2 positions. Eugene back up into the podium position, and let's see what kind of breakaway pace he has.
Stocko Saints is retaking that position that he lost to Desi. At the moment, let's have a look at our closest one. It is crucial against Basabi.
Critical.
Is it critical?
CRI.
Yeah, sorry, my spelling. Oh, it's been a long day. But yep, it is critical behind Basabi. Let's see what it can do. Basabi is in the top 3 of the championship. Critical, obviously being a newcomer, he is very, very fast so far. Very impressive. I mean, what can he pull off? I mean,
Basabi. You see what I said there about the medium curve?
The back end did kick out, and he was going to go for it. Let's have a look.
Basabi seems to be very fast on the straight. However, I will say Critical's Red Bull, just from looking on this lap, and it could just be driving, as he locks up there, and probably shuts up. Exactly what I was about to say is he seems very balanced in the corners and very casual, and that can really benefit. However, it's so hard to overtake on this track, even with DRS along this main straight. DRS is only really effective once you're into the 8th gear and you get overspeed. Do you get the extra 30 kilometers an hour in 8th gear? You're not in 8th gear for very long around Suzuka. So what you actually want to do is force the driver into a mistake. How do you do that? fake launching dive bomb up the inside, weave about. The drivers have proximity arrows to let them know when someone's behind them. Make that proximity arrow move. Keep them flicking the right stick and looking behind. They will make a mistake and you will get the position.
Trying to get DRS, obviously, as you said, it's very difficult in this game as Critical takes a bit of a lock-up going into the hairpin. He's very pushing hard, especially on those soft tyres. They need to last him as much as they possibly can to try and extend it as much as they possibly can.
Be probably looking to come in between laps 7 to 10, maybe 7 to 11. So right now, they're probably getting the last good lap out of the soft tyres. Those who have got a bit sideways will be a little bit ahead of
that. It's going to be a bit of a task at the moment. I mean, the only person at the
well, this is the closest battle.
This is very closest battle at the moment. You've got Critical and Pasabi. Pasabi is out, I believe, is he? Yes, he's out of the DRS range, so Critical can actually start making ground. He will get second by second by second, try and be taking it off that slightly. Pasabi will probably be in a bit of deep trouble as Tim AA has literally just lost it out to Eugene.
I think Eugene got on the curbing on the inside left just before you get into the last part of the S's here. And that, again, because you're going uphill, breaks traction with the rear. It basically means that your unloaded tyre is no longer making contact with a track, so you've only got your loaded tyre, the one dragging across the surface, heating up. Boom. Rear.
But as we've said, the closest at the moment is... no, actually, Desi's actually quite close with Stock O Saints. Is this the fastest one? No, Critical and Pasabi is actually. We're going to stay on with this as Critical is very close with Pasabi. Very aggressive. Now, what's he going to be using? He's using that overtake button. He's going to try and get as close as he possibly can before the DRS.
Well, Pasabi's gone defensive here.
Very defensive.
And that could open things up here. Oh, he had to lift off.
Who's going to break first?
Pasabi's got the inside line. Although this section through the triangle is designed for switchbacks, but very hard to overtake. It's now going to come on to DRS, and Pasabi actually has DRS on tempo ahead, which should help him defend this position, as we're seeing Critical now in critical levels of the ERS.
We spent a lot of time, but especially on that towards the end part of Sector 2, and also at the beginning of Sector 3 and the start of Sector 1, you're going to be using a lot of ERS, especially when you're under the cosh of the DRS, because obviously you're going to be using that as much as you possibly can to try and play defensively. Every part of your body says that I need this possession before the pit stop. Oh, we got someone's gone off. It is Brenboy. Brenboy is our first ever DNF of this race. We need to find out what happened with Brenboy as soon as possible if we can with the FIA. We'll try and see what we can get back to on that. We're going to stick with tempo at the moment.
Making up the ground on Eugene, as we see Critical as well, right on the rear wing of Pasabi as they go through Spoon. He broke very late, clearly.
I believe, you never know, he probably tried to use the defensive way and try and go
inside.
Go on the inside.
It's not impossible to see someone launch a move up there.
There's grass there from Pasabi.
That might cost him a couple of hundredths around here. But again, way too far ahead. Wow, Critical enjoying his lockups here.
He very is. I mean, I can only imagine that those tyres are going to turn into squares at some point.
Yeah, exactly.
It wouldn't surprise me. Anyway, DRS. Here we go. Hasn't got the ERS, so he's going to have to do it manually with the DRS. Is he going to do
they're
it?
in 8th gear now.
He's done it.
Wow, that head of the person in 3rd in the championship on his debut coming to play.
That is. He did that with Pasabi, who I believe, let's have a look, I believe is
third still,
third still in the title race. So that is actually very, very impressive from Critical.
That's it.
He is going to now try and hunt down Tempo now. Tempo has only made probably one mistake so far.
Yeah, he got sideways through the triangle. And actually, he's recovered very well as he's now within a DRS of Eugene, who's already made a mistake. As we can see from the onboard here, as Critical has nearly broken DRS range on the Sabo. We can see, actually, he's got very good pace, Tempo. We know that he's second in the championship. He's just got to cut out the little errors that we're seeing through Silverstone, for example, with the tyre change. Belgium losing the traction going at Radion. He's still a top driver in this class, and he will be hunting down Eugene now. I'm very interested to see any overtake around Japan because they're all top quality, and that's
very Tempo. What was that, mate? You've literally just gone and pretty much taken out Triangle, cut off completely.
It's Sharky.
Sharky has come in. He has come in.
Going on to
what will he go? Is he going to hards?
Yeah.
Yes, he's going hard. So he's going to go for the one-stop strategy.
It's the sensible decision to be made. There hasn't been a safety car, so between laps 7 to 11, you will see pitters as Desi comes in as well. Depending on how Boris who's 4.5 seconds in the lead, he might feel that, look, no, Tim 88's not going to find 4.5 seconds in an undercut unless Boris made a mistake. What Boris might think of doing here is just wait for the pit activity to calm down.
Big lock up there.
So maybe he is struggling for grip. He might, though, be thinking, look, I'm going to pull away and I'll pit a little bit later just to make sure my hard tyres.
Well, that time is coming down quite quickly. I mean, that would have been the. It was a 4.5. Now it's gone to 4.3, 4.4 still.
It's hesitating because people.
Tempo has a warning.
3 seconds.
Where did it go? I believe it was Spoon. It must have been that part, obviously, where you're about halfway round it, hit that curve, and then also gone toward that green Astro curve.
Yeah. And that's going to lead him up to attack from Critical now, who's closed the gap tremendously. That he's found a second, helped by the mistake Tempo's made mid-corner for Spoon. There's another lockup. He's braking deep, but he got an oversteer.
Critical is coming in. I think he needs to.
Now this could be an interesting.
He's locked up again, going into it.
It doesn't matter if you lock up your tyres coming into the pit because they're getting taken off the car.
Yeah. He's gone on to the hard. He's planning to do a one-stop.
It's the sensible thing.
Tim 88.
Boris and Tim are both going to try a one-stop on medium, so they're going to have to look after them because of the high nature of the amount of turns you do on this track. As it's Sharky, has he undercut Tim? He's undercut Tim.
This could end up putting Sharky onto the podium places.
Track position is everything, as I've mentioned.
You've got Tempo, Kasabi, Jesse Formulae, and Lightning 66 still on the same times as they started on.
Yeah. Now, I'm not too sure mediums will help Boris break away, but it depends really on the last kind of 5 or 6 laps, what the gap is when the tyres are basically should come to the hard users. It's not an overly abrasive track, but the amount of turns you do, for example, the S's 130R, they're all quite high speed, medium speed corners, so you do heat up the tyres.
We've just had word from the stewards. Apparently, Bren Boy had spun into a wall. I can only imagine where he probably had done that, though.
End of the S's.
You think so?
Around Dunlop. That's the only place I can logically think he spun up there. And I think it was Sector 1, so I'd assume it was something to do with the S's. He must have maybe had an oversteer moment, you overcorrect yourself, boom, you're in a wall. This is the thing though, even if you run a little bit off track, it is difficult as we have a few more pitters.
Boris goes onto the mediums, Tempo goes onto the mediums, and so does Basabi.
Right.
Do you think they're trying to do a two-stop in that sheet and
you wouldn't purposely do a two-stop around Japan. I know that because track position is everything. There isn't a guarantee that you're getting those places back because of how hard it is to overtake. So they must be trying to make these tyres last.
Definitely. As it stands at the moment, it's Jesse Formulae still on his same laps on his tyres, and same with Lightning 66. They are going to be looking to probably come in at some point within the next probably 2-3 laps, maybe.
Well, Lightning 66 has been overtaken by Borish now. If we can just ride on board with it. And see, Lightning 66 definitely feeling the tyre wear there as he slides mid-corner through Spoon. That allows Borish to shoot on up. He will regain the lead when Jesse Formula pits again. The most interesting thing that it's worth stating, oh no, Kim 88's actually got past it Sharky on the run-up to 130R. So, Sharky might look to launch one. He does. He launches it into the triangle. They both lock up. And Tim keeps the position. Borish sets the fastest lap. It's a 1 minute 30.3. That's already a tenth of a second faster than the fastest lap that we saw in Tier 2. Sharky is again going to look to attack. However, ERS is a bit of a problem if you just look onto his dashboard now. Basabi makes up a position on critical as well. So we are seeing the medium tyre users wreak the advantage of their medium tyres over the hard tyre users. But we could see the polar opposite to this when the race eventually comes to the hard tyres, probably around lap 20 to 23.
I'm not going to lie though, when it comes to Jesse Formula, I mean, he is going for it. Let's face it, on the mediums on 11 laps. But it would not surprise me if he literally just plummets through it, as Borish is actually coming up towards Jesse Formula.
I'd assume he could come out. He's going to come out right at the back of the field. I don't think he'll be dead last, but he was around Desi, wasn't he, in Mighty FIFA? So I think he'll come out 11th.
Borish is using all his ERS. Oh no, he's actually going to wait a little bit longer.
I would be patient here and make. You don't need to make the move here, purely because you know he's going to pit. He hasn't pitted yet. There's a little hint of a lock-up there on the loaded tyres. Jesse stays out for another lap.
And he's going to be using it now. Jesse Formula tried to break the DRS.
I think that looks quite easy. I think Jesse thought there's no point in fighting this. The tyre is in the advantage of Borish. So he made one defensive move, which is all you're allowed to do. He made it early. It didn't look like a hard overtake there for Borish.
Borish at the moment on 2 laps. Those are fresh mediums. Jesse Formula still to
We're
pit.
seeing another medium user as Mighty FIFA and Stocko Saints are in a bit of a battle through turn 1. So we are seeing actually those using the medium tyres for obvious reasons, have the advantage over the hard users at this moment in time. So Eugene gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings.
That'll be extending the track or obviously cutting corners.
I think on this track it would be more maybe around the Degners where you can actually get onto the grass through Degner 1. That's probably the most common place to get a penalty. Or if you make a mistake through this section here on Spoon, you can drift out a bit too wide mid-corner and on corner exit here. But that seemed fine. You still got 2 tyres on the track.
At the moment, let's see who's our
closest battle is Tempo with Eugene. Tempo with the tyre advantage here. Critical on his debut. Unfortunately, gets a 3-second penalty again for multiple warnings.
He is 2 laps old on his hard. Borish making another fastest lap. He is ragging this Sunday.
He's breaking away, and I don't blame him. You've got the fresh air. You've been dominant this race. He's shooting away, and that's exactly what needs to be done.
Unfortunately, I mean, even though Tempo did have the DRS, unfortunately had no ERS to back the brunt as Eugene.
Eugene! On the curb. Avoid the curbs, guys.
Eugene right there, unfortunately giving more territory to Tempo, as Tempo is going to try and get that overtaking point done.
If I'm Tempo, I've got a huge smile on my face right now. I know my opponent's feeling the pressure. I know he's looking in his mirrors, and I know I've got the tyre advantage.
He is definitely. The only thing, obviously, with Tempo, he does have a 3-second time penalty. So does Eugene at the moment. So that doesn't really cancel it out at the moment.
Yeah, they'd stay exactly where they are, and they wouldn't lose a place to Basabi. He's 3.3 behind. But they are about to go into battle, no doubt.
There is though an absolute grudge match between Tim AH trying to get back into podium position.
Now this should
against
be pretty Lightning.
Sorry.
This should be quite simple, as if you look on the left-hand side of your screen, guys, you see 10-lap fresher tyres from Tim here.
Oh, Tim, careful, mate. Remember, you can get done here.
There's about 3 points of contact there, and I think that's the tyre from the Lightning is really, as he gets a penalty, he must have drifted wide mid-corner through turn 1 here. What that would have been is the tyre advantage, really struggling on traction. Tim wasn't struggling on traction. He managed to get his foot to the floor. Unfortunately, there was a big roadblock in the way.
Yeah, a massive error there by Lightning 66, as well as probably braking a little bit too early with Timmy AA, because he probably did clip his wing. But that is also because he did go wide into turn 1, and now because of that, he has now got, well, last week's winner, it's Sharky right behind him. He's taking a dive bomb on the inside. Wow, what a move there by It's Sharky. That is absolutely brilliantly well done.
Into the hairpins, we found out it's called.
Yeah, but It's Lightning is not going to be giving up, is he? As he got it to the inside. No, he's going to do it!
Sharky made a mistake mid-corner. He's now going to have a bit of a lack of momentum all the way down the straight, but the tyres are in Sharky's favour greatly, and it won't be long now until we see Jesse Formula and obviously Lightning 66 coming for the mandatory pit stop.
Oh, a little bit of weaving and waving towards it.
Another fastest lap of 29.0. I'm so surprised that he's not coming
Lightning
in.
still hasn't came in.
Well, it'd definitely be a one-stop, but now you're only going to get... you see, I think he needs to come in. Those tyres are far and away past.
Yeah, Eugene is literally just breezed past Lightning 66.
And Tempo's right behind him as well.
Yeah, Lightning's behind him, and now Eugene is going to try and go for his teammate. It's Sharky.
That's it. These two have... Now, the first few races I commentated on, Eugene, I remember he made a really good move for the lead around Austria, but It's Sharky's really had the dominance of their partnership throughout the last few weeks. So let's see how this one goes, as Sharky is looking to break away. I think he's nearly broke DRS.
He almost has. Depends on what.
I think he will do it on exit, because Eugene went far too deep into the corner,
he's gone.
And it got far too hungry on the throttle throughout that. And
that Tempo is going to come for him now. Tempo is going to try and see if he can get back into 5th.
And he has the tyre advantage.
He very much well does.
Oh, that's really, really well controlled through Spoon. It's so easy to understeer wide. It's patience and it's cadence braking. Lift off your braking through a corner, and that will help. That will definitely help us. You need to make sure you're nailing your mid-apex speed. That's a very aggressive line through there. I'm not too sure where that comes to with legal, but he drifted onto the curbing there on exit, and that costs you quite a bit of time, as he found out the hard way earlier in the race where he spammed.
Lightning 66 still out there on his 16th lap, and so is Jesse Formula. I can only imagine what they're planning here.
I assume that they'll be going on to the softs right at the end.
You think?
I assume softs last about 9 laps. There's 11 laps to go in the race right now.
Tempo's binned it. He's lost 1 and 2 places.
He had a couple of oversteer moments through the S's, which is easily done. And unfortunately, he corrected it well, but unfortunately, he's retired from session. I think he's a little bit annoyed with himself there.
Yeah.
So, look, easily done. And this isn't going to do anything for him in the championship. If I'm honest, I'm a little amused why he didn't keep going. I don't think his car had damage. I think he's just quit because he's made a mistake. That's not the attitude I look for. Personally, I would have stayed out. There's always an opportunity for points. You never know who's going to bin it last lap. The closest battle is going to be It's Sharky and Jesse Formula, as there is a huge tyre offset there. But I assume Jesse Formula is going to come in, maybe at around lap 20 and go on to softs.
It's a very, very difficult one. I mean, look how fast he is. It's Jesse Formula. Oh, Jesse Formula. That will look very naughty there by Jesse.
I think Jesse held his line, and I think Sharky didn't want to launch it down his inside, and then came back into the braking zone and almost wiped out Jesse. I would say that was more on Sharky, as he gets a bit of oversteer mid-corner. The hard tyres aren't great around here on the game, which might have been some thinking with the mediums.
Lightning 66 has gone on to soft. Your prediction is correct. They are going to go to the end.
They're going to attack. They're going to attack, and this is interesting to me because there's only one position on track now, Desi, as Sharky does get past Jesse into the hairpin, so he launched another one up the inside of a driver with old tyres. Now, it's very interesting.
We do have one. Desi has retired.
Not too sure why that is.
And it's a safety car.
It's a safety car.
Lightning 66. Wow.
No, it depends who comes in. I wouldn't come in if I'm anyone other than Jesse Formula.
Jesse Formula is going to have to come in.
And he's going to gain positions, but I'm playing track position all day long. If anything, this benefit. Oh, Boris has come in. Maybe he has the gap now. He can. Or does he? I don't know what. I wouldn't do this.
What's he going on? He's going on to socks. Tim 88 has
stay up. You play track position all day long on this track.
Right. It's Sharky's Julian has come in. I can't speak this quick. Eugene has gone up to second. Boris is on the soft. It's Sharky. Is he going on the softs? He's also going on the softs. Sabi, he's going on the softs. Jesse Formula, he's on the soft.
There's a wing change here for Critical.
He's going on the softs. Marty, FIFA, what are you doing there, mate? You know what? I'm going to make a more sense. He's going on the softs. Yeah, he's going on the soft. Critical, he's on the softs. He's had to take a penalty. Stocker Saints, he is on the mediums. Unless he does have to come in.
No, Stocker Saints is on the mediums.
Stocker Saints is already just came in straight away. So, at the moment, as it stands, Eugene is in second with Tim up in front. I don't know who to go for. I really don't know who to go for.
My instinct tells me Boris's pace has been fantastic, but it's all about track position around this track, and I would have done personally what Tim and Eugene have done, which is stay out and take my chances with defending.
Could we see Tim 88, right, not Boris, who is one German, but Tim 88, the other German, take his place on the top steps? Could we see this?
We could, absolutely, and that is because of how difficult an overtake on this track is. I all day long would trust my defensive ability. I'll take the inside line. There's only two overtaking opportunities. Turn one and the triangle or the chicane. You take the inside line on both of those, and that makes the attacker's job so difficult. I get why people are going on to softs, but I heart of hearts, I would have stayed out. And I think Tim will at least get a podium out of this, unless he makes an error.
Eugene obviously has also the opportunity to stay up on the podium, but depends on if he will go. It depends on what. It depends.
It's so difficult to overtake that I would have stayed out. But well played to Desi, driver of the day, because you bringing out the safety car, my friend, has made this interesting. Just like when Lando at Nürburgring, Lando Norris, his engine went, and they brought out the safety car, and that made it like a 10-lap sprint race, and everyone was saying, Lando, driver of the day, well done. Or around Italy, when Magnussen parked his car in the pit lane, closed the pit lane, and handed a penalty to anyone who pitted. Everyone was, Magnussen, driver of the day. Desi, you're the driver of the day.
Desi, thank you very much, mate, for making this race even more interesting. We're going to be seeing a different kind of ball game here. Safety car will be in this lap. Everyone seems to have caught up with the safety car. So we're basically going to be looking
a 7-lap sprint race.
Next set. Six. Well, to be honest, you could count as 6 if you want to.
So Desi hit the wall in sector 1, and he had a glitch that he couldn't turn off overtake. So Desi's retirement is
on a technical difficulty. Oh, Eugene, don't pull
a Grosjean or a Russell.
Please don't, mate. Please don't.
Or well, any number of people. So many people have crashed on in these situations. Even Michael Schumacher once binned it. So it's not beyond the realms of possibilities that if you light up those tyres a bit too much, and you need to push the hard tyres a little bit harder than the softs because they have they're a harder compound. So you need to work them harder to get the heat into them. They're harder rubber. Tim, if I'm Tim here, I'd break it away as fast as I can because Eugene on those hard tyres could see himself swamped into turn one. Safety car that's going to be a penalty. That's going to be a penalty for Eugene, and that's damage. It's a penalty for Tim as well. No.
That's not a penalty for Tim, surely not.
Look at him. He's got the penalty marker.
Did he have that already?
No.
Unless it was a brake test, I'm not entirely sure.
How would the game tell?
I don't know, but Eugene has literally just damaged his wing, leaving Boris wide open. He's done it, man! Eugene, what have you done? As we are getting on to race, Tim A8 is obviously in the lead, followed by Boris, followed by Sharky. Sharky's only literally...
He's going to launch it! There's contact, there's everything, wheel banging, there's... Oh my word, this race just got mental.
It's also... maybe have a glitch there, because we've also had a yellow flag in Sector 3 for some reason. But Sector 1 we have a yellow flag.
Eugene's retired.
Eugene has retired.
He crashed out at the end of Sector 3, crossing start finish, and then DNF'd, officially closed and left the game session, going into Sector 1 after you cross the finish line. Well, I don't know. I think Tim, he got a penalty. Those 5 seconds penalties might be removed. Now, that's coming from the race stewards who are watching. That looked like Eugene hit Tim under the safety car, which you get a 5-second penalty for on the game. However, the 5-second penalty was given to Tim.
Boris is coming into play. He literally at the start, halfway through this lap, he was 1 minute. Sorry, not 1 minute. 1 second, right, and 5/10. That has gone down
3/10.
Tremendous amount. Now Boris is going to come into it now. No DRS yet, but look at all that ERS. Look at the tyres. They are going to go up and up.
And I've noticed only Sharky and Boris are without penalties now. There were a lot of penalties handed out under safety car. So bear with us, folks. Some of these penalties might end up removed at the end of the game. We don't know. All I know for sure is Boris has a huge tyre advantage, and the tyre difference is really felt in the corners, not on the straights. So if there's an overtake going to be made, he's going to have to probably make it either around a corner or, hope that he looks after his ERS. His critical gets another 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. So penalties getting handed down left, right and centre at the moment.
Tim A8, can he pull it off? I mean, I know he's already got a penalty, but as it stands, the stewards will be looking into it, but it will more likely be after the race because there was that incident.
He's got loose mid corner, but I think that made Boris lift off. This is, again, I would put all my money on track position, but Boris is the championship leader, and I tell you what, with tempo out again, Wasabi only down in 5th, this could be a damaging blow if he gets the win here. There was a bit of rear locking there for Tim. That's always a bit dangerous. Rear locking could lead to spinning.
Yes, Boris is now behind.
DRS enabled.
DNS are able, but unfortunately, it will have to wait another lap for probably Tim A8 to get into possession. So it's going to be more like where you position your car, where are you going to be braking, where are you going to be taking that corner, and how fast you can get on the accelerator for just one more lap until Boris can then probably finally make that overtake to get into first position.
These tight tracks present unique situations like this for the fact that there is no cut and dry overtake, and the F1 season would be boring if every track was a full-speed Monza. You know, you need tracks like this to really shake things up, and that's what Suzuka's doing. It's a drive circuit. They say that in real life. They say that I say that as well about this game, because it's the ones who really enjoy their sim racing who excel on these kinds of circuits.
It's Sharky's now coming into touching distance now with Boris. Them three right now, the Ferrari, the McLaren and the Racing Point, are now going to be looking to do the damage on Team 88 as we are coming up to Triangle now. Now this
could be interesting.
Very interesting now. So I believe we're going to ride on board now with Boris. Now he has ERS. He does have DRS now. He has the faster tyre. What can he pull off? It's going to be closer. It's closer and closer.
This is going to be into the corner around the. He's got the inside line. It's got the inside line, and he's seen him out. It's track position. It's all about that defensive driving. As I said when the safety car came out, I would play track position all day, and that's because it's so hard to make an overtake around this circuit.
Definitely, still these three battling away at each other.
See Wasabi's up into fourth as well. He's now closing in on this battle, and the longer they take to overtake Team 88, the more people are going to be drawn in. This is actually anyone's game.
Definitely, especially with those.
Boris goes wide.
Boris has gone wide. Now, what can Sharky do? Sharky didn't get a great exit either, but they are going wheel to wheel as we are coming towards up to Spoon. Boris now slightly in front. What can Sharky do? He's going to have to wait a little bit longer.
Wow, this is great. Oh wow, I'm having so much fun because a track like this can lead to amazing moments and amazing overtakes.
It's Sharky trying to get the clean air and being out that dirty from Boris. I think he's trying to get that as close as possible lock up by Boris.
He had to slam that brake off.
Now, very good exit by Boris. Now, what can he do? He's got the DRS. He's got basic DRS as well. It's off the tyre. Remember,
he's not close enough.
He's not very close. He's not close enough at all. But it's Sharky. What can he pull off? Very close between these three. Really is.
Tim, I hope this penalty gets taken away. It wasn't your fault. Take the checkered flag and worry about it after. Oh no, he got loose there. Oh, this is intense. This is. I don't know who to pick. You would assume that these soft tyres now haven't got many more good laps in them.
I think it's Sharky's. I mean, he is trying to push, don't get me wrong, but I think he's going to probably sit this out. Critical with a 128.19. Wow, that's a very good one. I mean,
2 seconds faster than the Tier 2 fastest lap then.
He's actually, Critical has actually recently just come in onto the softs. So he's done that. He's done that purposely to probably try and get into the extra point. As Boris is coming up very tantalisingly close to Team 88.
Well, he's pushed him through Spoon. Now he's going to have the slipstream effect. Now this could be
very, very good. Now he's going on the outside. Team 88 has to give him the room.
Around the outside, 130. He's done it. Oh,
Team 88's gone.
It.
He is out the race. That is unlucky.
Oh, it's heartbreak.
It's very heartbreaking.
And now Wasabi's right on the back of It's Sharky, and he could use this position. I can't believe it, Tim. It defended so well, and I wouldn't want to speculate what happened, but
Stocko Saints coming up on his teammate Lightning 66. He's going on the inside. He's taken that very nicely.
Let's just get back on with Wasabi as well, because this still, I think Boris should take the checkered flag now, but this could be very, very close between these two. Oh my word, Tim, you defended so valiantly and you only needed to do it 3 more. But what happened there, it was a fantastic overtake from Boris, and I think, and we weren't on board because we were watching the overtake, I think taking that defensive line, I think maybe, I don't know whether he cut the corner, got onto the grass, whatever it happened, he's ended up in the wall, and he's getting, well, he will place 9th, so he will get points, but it's a DNF. And Boris has a penalty!
Boris has a penalty. It's going into Sharky. pocket right now this race. Sharky, if you can hear his mate, keep your nose clean. You're the only one that hasn't got a penalty yet. I know you're 1 second behind. You're out of the DRS going into the final
Don't worry.
lap.
Just
but keep
make
driving,
sure,
mate.
Just
keep going.
Make sure you one lap. Do not make a mistake here. He's not going to find 2 seconds on you. Well, I hope not. Anyway, it could be amazing here. Basabi's going to attack him though.
Basabi, remember, has also got a penalty. He's going to take on. Oh, he's gone on the grass. No, Sharky's also. I believe there may have been some damage on that front wing. I'm not entirely sure. It's Sharky's gone back up into the second. Basabi
has to leave him room.
Basabi has to yield.
And this is still playing into Boris's hands, who's now got 2 second gap. And this battling is taking the advantage away from Sharky.
I believe, it's a 3 second time penalty now. It's Sharky. Sharky, you need to keep it close, mate. You need to push.
Oh my word, this is going to be Lando Norris in Austria levels.
Scenario 7.
Hold overtake on exit. Go on, lads. Oh my word. It's 2.3. Boris
is going to be trying to pull away as much as he possibly can. It all depends now on Spoon. Now it also depends on the triangle. We'll see what happens.
And is Basabi going to attack? If Basabi attacks again, then surely Boris is going to find the extra 8 tenths.
We'll see what happens. Basabi's coming up. 250, 251. He's going to have to yield there. He's going to have to probably wait.
He tries into the chicane.
He is going for it. I believe Basabi is going to go for it. It's Sharky has kept it.
Sideline beautifully. This is going to be intense. 2 point. Oh, we've got. It's
Sharky! It's Sharky has taken it. Boris has taken the.
And Jesse Formula gets a podium from that long stint he pulled. The safety car coming out. Wow.
And I was saying, it may be Boris. He may have taken the checkered flag, but it's Sharky who wins the Japanese Grand Prix.
Well, that was a pretty standard race until the safety car came out.
What incredible racing towards the end.
We had Tim who played the strategy game and he'd stayed out. Oh my word.
Wow.
These guys never failed to come up with something. And that was... That it wasn't even a second.
It was a tenth.
Oh.
A tenth. You couldn't have asked for it any better, could you?
I'm absolutely speechless.
Is it December 25th again?
It
must
know.
Be.
It must
it's
be.
It's got to be Christmas. It surely is. What a final, literally, I think it was...
Final lap. Since Tim crashed out, so yeah, Tim 88 crashing out from a brilliant overtake, it must be said, from Boris. And then, I don't really know. That was an absolute whirlwind.
That was absolutely incredible.
Another win. Another win for Sharky.
It's Sharky. He's coming into this now. He really is. He started second on the grid. He's come out on top. Boris, mate, unlucky again, mate, but wow.
Well played as well, it has to be said, to Jesse Formula. He did an amazing first stint where he did, I don't know, nearly 20 laps on medium tyres, and he was struggling, and the safety car came out, and yes, that played into his hands, but he's made that work, and with the penalties, he's found himself on the podium, and a great first race for Critical as well, who stole the fastest lap, 1:28.1, a second faster than his nearest rival.
I will say this. I mean, it already came up on there, but obviously Jesse Formula for me is driver of the day.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, what you just described, obviously, was at the point what we thought was the most insane decision ever. Yeah. But it's only gone and worked out for him.
Maybe that's what he was hoping for. Maybe he was hoping for a safety car. They've brought one out in every race. I wouldn't have bet against it. So, let's take stock of all of this. Boris, who was leading a dominant race, has all of a sudden picked himself up a 3-second penalty on the second to last lap, which played into Sharky's hands. Basabi was then attacking him, which allowed Boris to extend, and Boris only needed another tenth of a second to steal the win I'm absolutely buzzing after that race.
We are at the moment with It's Sharky. It's Sharky. I can't, mate. Me and Matt right here are just speechless. I mean, what a final couple of laps right there. I mean, you had every part of that controlled. I mean, literally, the fact it came to a 10th, you must be absolutely ecstatic with that final lap and to come up on top for the second time this season in a row. How are you feeling, mate? Seriously?
Of course, Tim crashed, and that was like the thing that would hold up the McLaren. But he crashed, so that wouldn't happen. And then I saw like the 3-second time penalty, and I was like, okay, this is it. No room for mistakes. But I had the Avatar behind me. That cost me like 1.5 seconds in the end. And especially at the final corner, I was sweating like crazy. When I came across the line, I think my entire house heard me shouting yes, but.
Oh my word! It seemed like a fairly standard race until that safety car. And look, I'm still trying to figure out really what happened. But honestly, just that's such a close finish with the penalty. Well done for holding off the AlphaTauri of Basabi, who he really came at you, man. He wasn't taking your situation whatsoever. He was coming for that position. So not only did you have to defend, you had to push. So fair play to you, man, and congrats on the second win in a row. You are here in the championship battle.
Yeah, thank you very much, dude.
Thank you.
Thank you, mate. Literally, once again, enjoy the win, mate. We are now.
See you in Canada.
See you in Canada.
See you in Canada, mate. Seriously. Okay, we are now live with Boris. Boris, I can't imagine how you're feeling right now. I mean, you played an absolute tremendous race, but unfortunately, that 3-second time penalty, I can't imagine how you feel. I mean, just go with us what happened there.
Yeah, I'm really disappointed about P2 because I think I was the fastest. I had 7 seconds in front of, and then safety car was not good for me. Then Tim and me, we had a little crash, but it was not my mistake because I gave him enough space. And at the end, I got my time penalty, and that really is annoying. I'm really disappointed that I wasn't able to win that race. Really disappointed.
I agree with you. I think you were the you driver, not only in qualifying because you took pole, fantastic, but you did dominate that race. And I think either way, when you sit back and think about it, you're still leading the championship. You've still made points on your rivals. So I think actually, although you'll be disappointed, the bigger picture, the championship, it's still looking good for you.
Mm-hmm. Yes, of course, in championship it's still working for me, but yeah, I really was wanting to win that race, but sometimes it goes wrong.
That's it. Thank you so much, Boris, for joining us. I believe we've got Basabi for an interview.
We do have Basabi next. Literally, Boris, on my part, mate, thank you very much, mate, for that. That was such a tremendous race, mate, but seriously unlucky, and literally, hopefully, you get revenge back in Canada, mate.
Thank you.
Right, anyway, we got Basabi next. I'm wondering if we probably will get, I think, Jesse Formula in. But at the moment, with Basabi. Basabi, you almost took it at Triangle, mate, going in on the final lap. Seriously, mate, unlucky. Seriously, you absolutely drove it ragged out there today, seriously. But you must be, must be a bit shocked at the fact that you didn't get the podium, mate.
Well, yeah, actually, I got the 5-second penalty under safety car, and someone hit me from behind. It even didn't even feel like a touch. I already sent it to the stewards. and the penalty will probably be removed. So if I would have gone for the move on Sharky, if I would have known that, then I would have maybe pushed him out a little bit more, and I would have gotten P1. So
Yeah.
actually P2 without the penalty. But yeah,
Okay.
it was.
So this is actually confirmed by the stewards that you've actually
No, it's
got
not confirmed,
P2.
but it will definitely be removed. I'm
Yeah.
100% sure of that.
We saw that. We saw what happened because it happened to a couple of other drivers. It happened to Tim 88 and Eugene at the front as well, where Eugene made the mistake and hit Tim, but unfortunately they both got the penalty. So look, then if you do when that penalty gets removed, if and when, that's very good for you because that will mean you finish second P2. That'll actually mean you gain points over your rivals.
I believe that also puts you above Boris as well, who we've actually just came off with an interview with.
So I believe Sharky is P1 and I am P2, and then Boris is P3, I believe, or Jess. No, I don't know actually, but I gain points on Boris, that's for sure. I didn't know he had a penalty. I saw it in the last corner. I saw that he had a penalty. So it was actually yes. And then after that, I was like, oh fuck, I should have gone for it more on Sharky. But tremendous race.
That was, I think Boris got his penalty second to last lap, and all of a sudden when that pops up on the screen, I mean, the last kind of 10 laps of that race were a whirlwind. It looked very simple until the safety car. And look, all I can say is well done and thanks for another great race. And we'll see you in Canada.
Yeah, thank you very much. Guys in Canada.
Enjoy. Literally, hopefully it does happen, mate. If you do get the P2, mate, literally well deserved, mate. Let's hope and pray for you. It actually does happen.
Yeah, thanks. Good luck.
Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, mate. Right, well,
we will wrap up then.
I mean, seriously, I don't know. I mean, I don't think I want to wrap up. I'm still hot from that race. It was
a silly ending because, and not in a bad way. I say silly as in it was brilliant. I've said it 19 times now. That looks such a simple race till the safety car comes out, and the different strategies. You've got people staying out. You've got people coming in for the soft tyres, and some of the overtaking around. It's got to be said because of how difficult it is to overtake around Japan. The level of driving. Everyone was leaving each other room. There weren't many nasty incidents. It was a fantastic race. Obviously, we will probably start next week's stream with an update for the viewers on how the championship is looking just after penalties have been removed and whatnot. So we will update you as soon as the stream starts next week around Canada for Tier 1. But thank you from me.
Thank you from me as well. That is all we have time for, seriously. I mean, what a boring race. True, something that you probably see, I don't know, in a racing film. Let's face it,
That was brilliant.
absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much, guys, for joining us. Absolutely tremendous. We'll see you in Canada. We thought we had three contenders for the championship. Let's face it, I think we got another.